Hey guys, so in this video we will have a look at the theory of the longest common subsequence problem. So the problem is something like this. You are given two strings and you have to find the length of the longest common subsequence in the two strings. Alright. So let's say the two strings are something like S1 comma S2, that is ABXC and BCD over here. ABXC and BCD. Alright. So in these two strings, the common subsequences will be something like B, C and BC. So these are the three common subsequences present in these two strings over here. So among these three common subsequences, the longest one is this one over here. So the length of the longest common subsequence in this case will be equals to 2, and the longest common subsequence correspond to these two characters of S1 and these two characters of S2. So I hope that the first test case was clear. Now let's jump at the second test case. In this test case, since there is no common subsequence between S1 and S2, the common subsequences in this case, since there are none, the answer in this case will be equals to 0. So I hope that the test cases are clear. So let's just move ahead with the solution. So we have already discussed that whenever we are trying to solve a dynamic programming problem, we try to divide the problem into three different subproblems. So the first subproblem was defining the states of the DP, and in this section we will define the states of the DP for this particular problem. So let's just have a look at the same example over here. So S1 is ABXC and S2 is equals to BCD over here. All right, so let's just try to define the states for our DP over here. So I'm going to define DP of I comma j as nothing but length of the longest common subsequence of S1 I to n minus 1, where n is the length of the first string. So let's just define it over here. N is the length of the first string over here, the length of S1, and let's say m is the length of S2. Alright, m is the length of S2. So the length of the LCS of S1 I to n minus 1 and S2 j to m minus 1. So basically this S1 I to n minus 1 is nothing but a representation of the substring of the original string S1 from index I to index n minus 1. In the same way, S2 j to m minus 1 is nothing but a substring of the original string S2 from index j to index m minus 1. Now I hope that the definition is clear. So let's try to understand the definition with the help of some example. So let's just try to understand the meaning of DP of 1 comma 1. All right, so DP of 1 comma 1 will correspond to the longest common subsequence of S1 1 to n minus 1 and S2 1 to m minus 1. All right, so S1 1 to n minus 1 is nothing but BXC. In the same way, S2 1 to m minus 1 is equals to CD. So in this case, the answer will be equals to 1. This is because the longest common subsequence in this case corresponds to these two characters over here. So the answer is equals to 1. In the same way, let's say that we want to compute DP of 2 comma 2. So DP of 2 comma 2 will correspond to the substrings XC and D. So in this case, the answer will be equals to 0 because there is no common subsequence between these two substrings over here. So I hope that the definition of the state of DP is crystal clear. So in the next section, we will try to lay down the recursive relation to solve the states. All right. So this was the second sub problem of solving a dynamic programming problem. So we will have a look at the same example again. So example was S1 equals to ABXC, and the example of S2 was equals to S2 equals to BCD. All right, now we have already defined DP of I comma j. Now we need a mechanism to solve it. All right, so we need a recurrence relation, and this recurrence relation will actually depend on two different cases in here. So the first case is dp of I comma j. The recurrence relation will be different in two different cases. The first case is if s1i equals to s2j, and the second case is s1i is not equals to s2j. So let's just try to understand these two cases over here with the help of some example. So let's say that I want to compute dp of 1 comma 0. So dp of 1 comma 0 will correspond to the substrings bxc and bcd. All right, so in this case s1 of 1 is equals to s2 0. All right, so this is the first case over here because this b over here is equals to this b. So in this case, these two, the first characters, since the first characters of these substrings over here are matching, it's optimal to actually include this b in the longest common subsequence. All right, so this b must be included in the longest common subsequence, and further we should find the longest common subsequence of these two substrings over here. All right, so that is xc and cd after including b in the longest common subsequence. So the answer will be something like dp of 1 comma 0 is nothing but 1 plus longest common subsequence of this xc and cd, that is nothing but dp of I plus 1 comma j plus 1. So in this case it's nothing but dp of 2 comma 1. All right, so this is, so because if you have a look at this xc is nothing but s1 2 to n minus 1. In the same way this cd is nothing but s2 1 to m minus 1. So that's why we want to add the value of dp of 2 comma 1 to the to 1 in here. So if we want to generalize this to any value I comma j, so dp of I comma j will be equals to 1 plus dp of I plus 1 comma j plus 1. In the case s1i is equals to s2j. All right, so I hope that this part was clear. Now let's try to understand some other part where s1i is not equals to s2j. All right, so the other part of recurrence relation will be something like this. So let's just have another example to understand this. Let's say I want to compute dp of 0 comma 1 in this case. So dp of 0 comma 1 will correspond to ab xc and cd. All right, so I know that in these two cases this a over here and this c over here, they are not matching. All right, so I know that since these two characters over here, they are not matching, they will definitely not be included as the longest commons in the longest common subsequence. All right, so in this case my answer will either be the let's say it will be maximum of these two cases. So the first case is the LCS of bxc and cd, and the second case is LCS of a, b, x, c and d. That is, in first case you actually delete this character over here and try to compute the value of dp of I plus 1 comma j. In the second case you actually do not really delete this character over here, and you delete this character over here instead and try to compute the value of dp of I comma j plus 1, and you take maximum of both of these values to compute the value of dp of I comma j. All right, so in the second case dp of I comma j becomes something like max of dp of I plus 1 comma j comma dp of I comma j plus 1. So this becomes our recurrence relation in case that s1i is not equals to s2j. All right, so I hope that these two recurrence relations are clear, and so these were the first two sub problems. Now let's just try to understand the third sub problem, that is the correct topological order to solve the states in. All right, so let's just whenever we want to lay down a topological order to solve the states in, we should have a look at the recurrence relation. That's the thumb rule. So if you look at dp of I comma j, it would depend upon if you have a look at the first recurrence relation, so it would, from that it would depend upon dp of I plus 1 comma j plus 1. Otherwise it can depend upon dp of I plus 1 comma j and dp of I comma j plus 1. All right. So if you have a look at this recurrence relation over here, it would actually the topology, if you have a look at it like this, let's say that we have a two-dimensional since we have a two-dimensional DP, so we will have states like this from 0 comma 0 to up to n comma m, where n comma m, n is the length of the first substring and m is the length of the second substring. So it will be something like a 2D array with n rows in total and m columns in total. All right. So in this 2D array, the topological order to solve the states will be something like this. I'll just lay down the states and then I will explain why this is the correct topological order to solve the states in. All right. So the states, the correct topological order to solve the states will be n comma m, then n comma m minus 1, then n comma m minus 2, n comma m minus 3, and up to n comma 0. All right. In the same way, then we will solve n minus 1. After we have solved this entire nth row, then we will solve n minus first row, that is n minus 1 comma m, n minus 1 comma m minus 1, and up to 0, and we will continue this, and in the end we will solve the 0th row, that is mth column of the 0th row, then 0 comma m minus 1, then 0 comma m minus 2, and up to 0 comma 0, which will be our final answer that we are looking for. So if you notice, the final answer that we are looking for is nothing but dp of 0 comma 0. All right. So this is the final answer that we are looking for in here. Why? Because if you look back at the definition over here, so in the definition, if you notice, this is the definition we have laid down over here. So in the definition, if you notice, the dp of 0 comma 0 will be equals to the longest common subsequence of s1 0 to n minus 1 and s2 0 to m minus 1. That is longest common subsequence of the entire string s1 and entire string s2, and that's what we are looking for. So that's why our answer will be represented by dp of 0 comma 0 in this case. All right. So this case over here, let's just get back to the topological. All right. So now over here, this is the correct topological order to solve the states in. And why? Because if you have a look at the recurrence relation, if you notice, before solving the ith row, it's always ideal to solve the I plus first row, because ith row is depending on I plus first row. All right. So before computing the ith row, we must always compute the value of I plus first row. All right. So that is point number 1 over here. So let's just clean this so that we can write the points. So the priority of I plus first row is greater than ith row. All right. Now point number 2 is within a row. Let's say we are calculating within a row. Let's say I am computing the ith row right now. So if I compare the columns, so I know that dp of I comma j depends upon dp of I comma j plus 1. All right. So before computing dp of I comma j, I must always compute dp of I comma j plus 1. So within a row, I must always prioritize solving the j plus first column before jth column. All right. So that these two relations over here together, it actually leads to this topological ordering. That is, first we solve the nth row in the decreasing order of the columns, then we solve n minus 1 first row in the decreasing order of the columns, and up to 0th row in the decreasing order of the columns. So this is actually the correct topological order to solve the states in for this particular problem. Now let's just have a look at the whiteboard style coding for this problem over here. So for that, we'll just create an let's say a function over here that takes in two strings as an input, that is string a, string b, and let's say I am also taking two integers as an input, int n comma int m, just for the case of simplicity, because I do not really want to define n and m as a dot size and b dot size over here. That would take some space. All right. Now let's see if I can how am I supposed to calculate the the answer that I'm looking for. How am I supposed to integrate the three sub problems that I just looked at? So the first thing to do is defining the states of the DP over here. So that will be a two-dimensional array. The first element will represent I, that is, and it will have n rows into n plus 1 rows in total, and this would represent the j. The second part over here, it will represent j, and it will have m plus 1 rows in total over here. Now coming to the base cases for this problem, so the base case will be something like this, that if I is equals to n, or j is equals to m, in that case, if either of these two happen, in that case dp of I comma j should be equals to 0. Why? Because if I is equals to n, it just means that the if we have s1 n to n minus 1 will have a length of 0. All right, it will be an empty string over here. All right, so it just, or even if you look at s2 m comma m minus 1, it would be another empty string. So if you take the longest common subsequence of an empty string with any other string, the longest common subsequence will have a length of 0. So the answer will be equals to 0 in this case. All right, so let's just try to initialize the base cases first. So since we have to solve the states in the order of the rows, and then in the decreasing order of the rows, and then in the decreasing order of the columns. So let's just initialize the nth row over here, that is the base case, with value 0. All right, so for int j equals to 0, j less than equals to m, j plus plus, dp of n comma j will be equals to 0, and this will be our base case in this case. Now let's just iterate over the rows in decreasing order as we discussed in the previous section. So for int I equals to n, I greater than equals to 0, I minus minus. Now so not from I equals to n, I equals to n, I already know. I have to iterate from the n minus first row over here. I equals to n was our base case. All right, so that's my bad. Okay, so if you notice, dp of I comma m will be equals to 0, because dp of I comma m is again my base case over here. So I have to initialize it with 0. Then I would iterate over all the j's in decreasing order as suggested in the topological ordering. So for int j equals to m minus 1, j greater than equals to 0, j minus minus. Now I have two cases over here. The first case is if s1i, or in this case, since I've actually taken the strings as a comma b as input, so let's call it a. All right, so if a of I equals to b of j, so this will be our first case over here. In that case, dp of I comma j will be equals to 1 plus dp of I plus 1 comma j plus 1, else dp of I comma j will be equals to max of dp of I plus 1 comma j comma dp of I comma j plus 1. All right, so let's just erase this over here. Okay, so this becomes our recurrence relation over here. So now all we need to do is close this loop over here, and then we can return dp of 0 comma 0, and that would give our final answer. And that's how we code this entire problem up. All right, so if we have a look at the time complexity over here, let me just erase the base cases over here. The time complexity in this implementation is O of n into m, and the space complexity is also O of n into m. So whenever you want to compute the time complexity, all you have to do is look at the number of states and also look at the time to compute each state. So in this question, the number of states are n into m, and the time to compute each state is O of 1. So the total time complexity becomes O of n into m. And in the same way, the total space complexity is also O of n into m, because if you notice, we have initialized a 2D array. Now it is also possible to solve this problem in in a smaller extra space. So basically we will see how to actually do that in the next video, when we try to actually code up the tabulation. So in the next video, what we'll do is we'll code up a tabulation version of this entire code on, let's say, on a compiler, and we'll see if our code works or not. So in that case, we'll try to reduce the space complexity of this. So ideally it can be reduced to O of minimum of n comma m. So it's possible to reduce the total space complexity to O of minimum of n comma m, and we will see that how we can do that in the next video. So that's all for this video, guys. Thank you for watching this.